I'm standing here with Professor
Friedman, John Friedman,
Professor Friedman. How long have you been teaching at Westbury?
over 5 years.
And are you aware of the history of Westbury and how it was founded?
I am. It was started as a progressive school, and it was unique. And the question is, has it changed since then?
Yes. We are doing a study for the class, and it's basically about the use of revolution and rebelling against authority or for any other type of reason. What do you feel about what's going on in the Middle East?
I'm thrilled by what's going on in the Middle East. I think it's very exciting that people are beginning to rise up and try to have some control over their own lives and get rid of the politicians and leaders who have simply enriched themselves and kept the populations down. And I'd like to see more activism today among students at Old Westbury and on campuses throughout this country. I think we've reached a stage now as a result of the Reagan years where we're dormant and quiet and quiescent, and I'd like to see people be concerned more about some of the issues.
So we decided to see what issues were affecting the students of SUNY or Westbury and what action they took to handle them.
I have a problem with bursars and financial aid. How y'all right next to each other and don't know what the hell's going on? It makes no sense.
Only thing I don't like about Bursa is they don't really get back to you as soon as possible when your money's due.
They're always charging me things that never show up on my account until later. Apparently I had a hold on my account my freshman year. I couldn't register for classes. Now I found out I have a refund check from fall '09, spring 2010, and fall 2010, and I have yet to receive any of those checks.
I'm standing here with
Kimron Aniki.
a student at SUNY Westbury. How long have you been waiting on this bursar line, Kimron?
About 30 minutes or so.
And what are you online for?
Well, I have to make sure my account and everything is good right now, so I'm just checking my balance.
How much longer of a wait do you expect?
I don't know. Can't even tell right now. It's not moving, so I don't know.
One of my problems with Old Westbury is UP. Sometimes UP aren't available as how they should be. I mean, we call UP, they don't come when they're supposed to. They say that there's not a lot of people there to, go to our concerns and stuff. So
Then in the caf, the food is mad like watery. It's not cool.
I think that they reuse food. Like if they didn't use all their lunch, they'll use it for dinner, and it's nasty. My friend found a staple in her food from the caf.
Everybody complains about the food, and they give out all these surveys for no reason. They don't ever forgive them. Like they don't ever follow through with the surveys. I mean,
there's no parking, literally no parking. You have to stalk people out to get parking spots. Like you have to follow them after they come out of, especially the AV. You have to follow them and like ask them, and like I don't know. It's usually a battle. Like if someone wants to give you a parking space, someone will cut you off just to get one. Like it's really bad.
All right, listen, this is a serious issue. I have a 250 right now. I've been out here for like a good 15 minutes. It's 70 degrees. No parking anywhere. I just seen Shorty. She was looking right too. Reserved parking. I don't understand. She looked normal when she came out and all that.
I talked to the cops about it, and they're just like, there's nothing we can do. Like, we can't, there's no more room for parking. And I'm just like, this place is huge. Like, what do you mean there's no place for parking? Like, I don't know. I don't really get any answers.
I'm trying to go around with the list of names so that we could complain to the department, because of course if one person complains, it's not going to hold that much weight as if everybody or majority of people complain.
My mother calls the school and speaks to a higher authority. That's how I handle it.
I speak to people, but nothing happens. Who do you speak to? I spoke to my RA about my room. I speak to people in bursars about why they don't talk to financial aid, and nothing.
It's not as exciting as I thought. Like the whole college experience is not as fun, especially as a commuter student. I feel like I'm isolated. I really don't talk to that many people. There aren't that many programs. There's not that much going on in general during the school day.
Yeah, that's actually a big common theme amongst commuters. They don't feel like there's a lot offered to them.
Well, I do know that I tried to join a club, and apparently the practices started at like 9 o'clock at night, and I have to leave by a certain time, and that's not good for me because I have a long commute. So I need something that I can do during the day, and I feel like most of the clubs don't like meet during the day.
So it's really affecting your involvement with the school.
Personally, I feel like the social life at a Westbury really sucks in terms of like being able to bring somebody in. We do pay tuition, however, we are restricted in bringing somebody in that we would like to have over.
We're 21. A lot of us is up there now. These rules from when we came in '07, it's crazy. Because when you feel like you're old enough, you don't feel like somebody need to be on your back 24/7. We are in college, like, we know our own responsibility.
My name is Usama Sheikh. I am the Director of Residential Life at SUNY College Old Westbury. I don't think there's any alternatives to the guest pass process. The reason that's in place is not only just for the safety of our residents, but also for the folks who are visiting, because God forbid there's an emergency on campus, we need to know who's on our campus, what kind of services are available, what we need to do to assist them. So the process that's in place, in my opinion, is pretty standard across the nation. In our residence halls, we have very active hall councils, and supervising the hall councils is the RHA. Those two organizations, hall councils and the RHA, are the student voices for all resident students who live on campus. So if students have any concerns or even feedback, positive feedback, things they would like to see here, things they think that can be done better here, or ideas that currently don't exist here on our campus. The hall council members as well as RHA are wonderful resources that students have available.
Currently, I'm the director for SUNY Old Westbury NYPIRG, New York Public Interest Research Group. So I facilitate the largest student body organization here at Old Westbury to help students bring about change. What we tell them is first they need to educate themselves on what has been done, what needs to be done, and what can be done. And then once they figure that information out, kind of like the back research, they then need to, you know, go about things in an orderly manner. Petitions are a very diplomatic and efficient way to go about things because it shows it's student bodies interested into something, and so they can show their professors or their administration that, hey, we as students want this change. Another way is advocating what they want. You know, meetings, different programs in which they bring a large student body and talk about certain things. Tabling, as I said, is a large way that we go about getting the student body in. Because NYPIRG isn't a huge enterprise based on money or popularity. It's more so on the masses. That's what grassroots organization is all about. So if you have 5 students advocating for something, it's not exactly as powerful as if you have 500 students. And so NYPIRG, we're very good at getting, 400 petitions in one day signed. Or, tons of students to register to vote. We got 450 students to register to vote in 2-3 weeks tops. The numbers are what make us who we are. And so that's what we teach students, that how to go about bringing such large interest in whatever we're doing. NYPIRG is seen throughout the campus, but not everyone knows, quite frankly, what it means or what exactly we do. We have elected board members, which help me facilitate different programs. We have project leaders that lead different divisions, them being small claims, consumer rights, environment, hunger and homelessness, higher education, and good government. And then we have core members that just get involved in a lot of programs. And we also have members who come and attend programs. And then we have interns. Since we are a student advocacy organization, our first basis is combating ignorance. So that's basically educating the masses. And we do that through public speaking. We call them class raps. So you'll all the time see students come to your class and speak about a topic and then inform students and get them involved. Another way is tabling. We will table about a wide number of topics, and we'll try to get students involved through petitions, through call-ins, through sign-ups, etc. We have programs. We have a lot of programs, big programs on campus where we'll entertain students while educating students. You definitely see that it's infectious with all the students. They find some resolution coming here and getting active while having fun. And I think that balance is something that not a lot of people on campus can say they have. Most students on campus that live on campus, they know of NYPIRG through dorm storming. We'll come to their dorms random days throughout the week in the evening and knock on their doors and tell them about things. Other than that, we've had programs in the dorms. We've had programs with various RAs. We have a huge recycling initiative going on right now with Usama, who's in charge of residential life. So we work with everyone on campus.
Have you ever wondered why maneuvering around the academic village was so difficult? Well, here's an interesting story. The developers designed the academic village to not allow a space for protesters to gather, but clearly they did not foresee the shuttle bus strike of 2010, when students took to the roads marching from the gates to the campus center demanding an improvement in service. Students fought hard for better service, and since then we have seen substantial improvements in the shuttle bus arrival times, similarly to how alumni and current staff Rose Museo protested in the 1976 and 1977 strikes.
I've been here for almost, well, I don't know, in the early 70s. I was a student at Old Westbury. I was here for both student strikes in 1976 and 1977. And the best source for information on those strikes is actually the Catalyst. The strikes at the time were to, try to preserve a mission here, to offer a quality education to working class students, people who worked, veterans, people who didn't normally have opportunities to go to college, people of color. We focused on students from the city. And we maintained an activist environment to ensure that mission was respected by SUNY. And that meant constantly, looking for, preserving the funding for the programs that were needed. And, to some extent, Old Westbury has been able to maintain its mission, its commitment to social justice and diversity. But, with the elimination of a lot of programs, especially remedial programs, and with, fewer lines for full-time faculty and less money for students, I think the, environment, the goal of quality education is really threatened more now than ever. So, students need to remain vigilant. At that time, one of the essential things for students, there were a few essential things. One was that student activists sought unity among the various groups. I mean, they existed then as they do now. We had Alianza Latina, we had Black Students Union, International Students Union, etc. Women's Union, Commuter Students Organization. But one of the very important things that students did was try to unite residents and commuters and all of the various smaller organizations and try to come up with what you all, what we all saw as a united mission and agenda, what our collective gripes were. So that was very important. And we formed a student union from all of the collective interests, the varied interests. The second thing that was very important was an alliance with faculty, because there were faculty here then who were part of the civil rights movement or who, were as committed as we were to, ensuring social justice or, striving for social justice. So, those faculty were very important to us. They were good writers, they were advisors, they helped in every way. They even helped, they were part of the negotiating team. I should say that, within that larger goal of social justice, we had very, concrete gripes around here. The food was horrible. There was inadequate child care. We wanted child care services. There were no bilingual education programs as had been promised to us. I mean, so there were a number of issues. The housing was horrendous, violations all over the place in the dorms. So, we did things like we boycotted the food service until a new contract was negotiated. We, occupied buildings. I mean, at that time, the administration was housed in one of the buildings right here, Building 12. So, people did occupy buildings. We blockaded all the entrances to, the campus. There were, I think, 3 entrances at the time. We blockaded so that no administrators could come on campus. Students joined, the strike. Everyone was involved. We held teach-ins, of course. That was essential because, especially with commuter resident students, there's an information gap. So we held teach-ins at the Rathskeller. At one point, the first strike, we negotiated with the campus administration, and some promises were made. A strike agreement was negotiated and signed. The promises made to us were not implemented, so for the second strike, we refused to negotiate with the campus administration, and we waited for Albany to come down. So we got the commitment from Albany to send negotiators. So, that's what we did. I mean, at that time, what we understood by activism was the need to disrupt the normal activities, and that brings attention. Yeah, when you actually disrupt. I mean, you can have, a rally, but if the ordinary business is not stopped, then chances are, the activism is not very effective. If I had to say anything, it's to all of us, and that's to pay close attention, to remain vigilant and to engage in conversations. I mean, one of the problems with, the internet age is that so many of us students and, the rest of us spend time alone, with our computers. And, unfortunately, not as much time is spent in the physical presence of one another. Having that space, was very important. Excuse me, like the Rathskeller, having a place to meet and speak to each other in person was very important. I understand how important Facebook is, and, has been essential in many environments, but we don't have the repressive environment of, some other places in the world. And I do think that the one-on-one collective meeting is still, very important.